Before we get into today's episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Edge Pizza Ovens. I'll tell you exactly why I like these guys. George pulls up to your shop to bake your pizza, your dough, your sauce, your cheese, your toppings through their oven to show you the quality that you can get from that conveyor. It's not like you're shopping online for an oven or you got to go to a showroom and talk to a sales guy. We're talking about, let's see what your product does through the oven with a test bake. He loads up the test truck and drives to wherever you are. It is the best process I've ever seen when it comes to showing people what these ovens can do. And I'm not just saying it because they sponsored the show. I'm using an Edge oven here at the shop. You guys have seen it, love it to death. It literally changed how we run and how we operate as a pizzeria. So I encourage you to just check him out. If you want to see where George is heading, he's all over the country all the time. Just follow hashtag Where's George Today on Instagram, on Facebook. Also, if you want to book a test bake, you want to see what it can do, you want to see him come to your shop, or you don't think he can match your bake, your quality, go to edgeovens.com/test bake. I'll put the link in the show notes, but you can schedule a test bake for yourself and see the results. Now let's get into the episode.
It's your job to get the customers to come back. Direct mail is a way of getting people through the door, but it's not going to keep them there. It's your in-store marketing. It's your product. More importantly, it's those aspects that are going to get the customers to continue to come in and be a loyal customer.
I got Kevin Slaughter here from Mailwise. Welcome to the Pizza King podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You're obviously you've been in this game for a little while. Definitely more pizzeria operators than I do, and I know a lot.
I don't know about that, but I know a good amount. Good things though, all good things.
Yeah, man. You sent me, when I met you in Vegas, you sent me, like a packet of postcards and menus that you guys work with. And I'm like, dude, this is like that thing right there. I'm like, dude, this is the who's who of pizza business right now.
I appreciate that. That all goes out to my father-in-law who started the business, but I've been lucky enough to maintain some pretty good relationships in the industry and keeping our customers happy. So that's the way it goes.
Tell us who you are and what you do over there.
Yeah, my name is Kevin Slaughter. I own Mailwise Solutions. We do direct mail advertising for pizzerias, not just direct mail, but, dine-in menus, takeout menus, stickers, table toppers, window stickers, anything you might need in the design and print world when it comes to restaurants. That's what we do.
How long has Mailwise been around?
Mailwise has been open. It's always a tough question because my father-in-law started it in the business, in the basement of his family house. I think it's been around almost 20 years, going on 19 right now. Yeah, he started another business called Max Marketing back in the day, and then got a phone call saying, "Hey, can you do these pizzeria mailers?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he really didn't know what he was doing or how to do it, but took a chance, and one box turned into 2, turned into 1,000, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, if I'm gonna grow this business a little bit more, I need to either kick my kids out of their bedrooms or buy a warehouse and get to work. So we moved to our current location here probably 16 years ago now, and we've been doing this ever since.
When did you get involved?
I started working here. I was dating my wife, Julie, at the time. Took my father-in-law and my dad to a Reds playoff game back in 2012, I think.
What's that, Great America?
Great
ballpark?
American, yep. And I don't think they've been to a playoff game since. But he looked at me when we were there and he was like, "Hey, can you drive a box truck?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was in college and started working here in college. Worked here until I graduated school. And then when I graduated, I went to Procter Gamble here in Cincinnati, then to Kroger. And then one day we were on vacation out at where were we? The Grand Canyon. He was like, "Hey, how do you feel about coming back full time and taking it over?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it."
What did you learn from the box truck about the business that made you want to stay in it? It made you want to go back to it?
Yeah. So I started off driving the box truck, working in the warehouse, and the warehouse is where we process all the mail, get it shipped to the DDU, the post office destination, and started working there, and then started working in the mailroom, and then started working in the design and print, and then started working in like sales and data, like basically setting up all the marketing plans, and just kind of fell in love with it over time. And it's 5 minutes from my house, and I was like, all right, let's try this. And then I came here in 2018 like full time. And then my father-in-law was here until January of 24. And then I bought it from him.
Okay. Was that, did you feel like that was a big risk at the time?
Yeah. My parents certainly did. I think a lot of people told me not to do it, but I know when I worked here, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with the staff, the people that we have working here behind the scenes, and just enjoyed the aspect of the business. It wasn't until I got into it like full time that I started talking to customers, getting to know them a little bit better. And then again, just fell in love with the aspect of what we do for the customers, the service we provide them, everything. I don't know. I like coming to work every day. So
I,
that's a good feeling.
I could tell you must like, I imagine there are pizzeria operators in almost every corner of this country that feels like they're best friends with you because
Correct. Correct.
because
That's
I'll
nice.
text you, you'll text like you. I already feel like we're friends, and I've only known you for a few months, and I'm sure there's so many more people that are just like Kevin's my
I
God.
always tell my friends who are like, "What do you do?" And it's like, I work with pizzeria owner operators, and it's like, how can you not like pizzeria owner operators? They like to have a good time. You sit down, have a beer. It's just you're just dudes and non-dudes, and it's like I don't know. It's just fun talking to you right now. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
hey Tyrell.
and that's how it is. And then you get to do a little bit of business along with it. That's all good.
Correct, correct. So it's nice that we can provide a service. We're not a giant company, so it's like you just mentioned, if you want to shoot me a text saying, "Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that," we'll take care of it. Hey, I need a box of menus. Can you send me a box of menus? I can't tell you how many texts I get on a weekly basis from customers, or just like phone calls from. It was my birthday the other day, and
I
how
saw
many
that.
customers reached out and just said, "Happy birthday, hope all's well. Can't wait to see you again." Blah blah blah. But it's nice to have, the customers first, friendship second, obviously, because you got to provide the service that the customer wants. But
Mhm.
it is nice creating friendships in this business atmosphere.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like in full disclosure, I ordered some postcards from you, but I feel like even if I hadn't ordered, we'd still be friends.
I would agree. I would agree. I have a lot of friends start ordering. No, I'm just joking. But I have a lot of friends who don't use our services because they have prior relationships made that they had in the past, and I respect that. And anytime I reach out to a potential customer and say, "Hey, are you interested in a packet?" and the customer's like, "I've been using this company for 10 years," it's like, well, I can appreciate the loyalty with that. And it's like I don't even like pitch it because it's like, nope, you're good. You're in good hands. I understand that relationship aspect of this type of business. And it's like, if you need me, I'm here. If not, no big deal.
What's the most common question you get from someone who's, you know, I guess probably interviewing you for your services? What do they want to know?
Just basically like the ins and outs of direct mail. How's it work? Like, what's the pricing like? So on and so forth.
How much does
But
it cost?
pretty much, because it's funny because a lot of customers, when they look at direct mail, they look at it as like the print cost and like what's the cheapest print they can get. So if you have a 10 by 10 and a half by 17-inch trifold menu with or without a coupon strip, it's like, well, here's our pricing. Well, the pricing on 25,000 menus is, I don't know, 7 cents each, a little less than that maybe. But like the postage is what it's actually the biggest the biggest expense
Yeah.
when it comes to doing this type of advertising. It's like, don't look at so much the printing price, but what's the postage price? It's like, that's what I would shop around with. That's what I would look into, because the menus are going to cost $1,500, $2,000, depending on how many you order. But the postage is going to cost, I don't know, 3,200, 6,400, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest expense. And that's where you can save the most money.
And that's something that you guys handle as well, right? You handle not just print, but you handle the mail services too.
Correct. That's kind of our bread and butter, is handling the mailing services for pizzerias or restaurants throughout the United States. But our biggest thing is we don't have contracts. So people are free to advertise on their own schedule. They can hold a mailing at any time. There's no added fees in there. But that's probably the mailing is our biggest bread and butter. That's what we're known for.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most intimidating part too for owners and operators. Like, hey, you can get print, you know, online. You can order mailers or you can order menus or, any of that stuff. But what do you do with it when you get it?
So when we
Because
get it, so we go through the design process once it's approved, and depending on, each store is different. So, your store might have 25,000 addresses within 2 miles, but then we have other stores that have 7,000 addresses within 10 miles. So it all kind of depends on how many they want to print, what do they need at the store? Because, when you order your stuff, you got a postcard. Other stores might need a menu. And then if they get a menu, maybe they want some sent to the store to like put out on the counter. And then once we receive that here, once we get them printed and ready to go, I always call the customers and have a follow-up of like, all right, how would you like to advertise? Do you want to advertise? And then B, if you do, like, all right, here's the cost of the postage. And then let's go through and work out what's in your budget. What type of response are you getting once you send them out? It's like I usually follow up 2 or 3 weeks afterward and say, how's it going? Did you see any response? Do you want to mail every week, like once a week? Do you want to mail every other week? Have it in homes around the 1st or the 15th of the month when people get their checks. So there's a lot that goes into it once they're printed, they're designed and then printed. And then it's up to the customer as to how they would like to advertise.
It's the marketing plan and execution behind, first there's the design process. And I like how your process went, because when we started to talk, you said, dude, what's your goal? Like,
Yeah, correct.
what are you actually trying to accomplish with this besides getting more sales, which we all want more sales? Like
Yeah,
how,
it's usually my first question is, what's your goal? Because if I can understand the goal, then I can design a piece to try to help with that goal. And obviously everyone wants more sales, but there's more to it than just the sales. It's, you want the design to match your store, your colors, everything.
Mhm.
I remember I had a pizzeria once that had a logo, and then the logo didn't match the sign outside his door. And I was like, how about we redo your logo for you so that it matches the sign, so that if they get the mailing in their house and they drive by your store, they can like relate, oh, that's the same thing. So it all kind of comes together. Same with social media. It's like pair your direct mail with social media so that the advertising looks similar. There's a
Mhm.
lot that goes into it, but understanding the goal for us is probably the most important thing, because we can then design the piece accordingly to help facilitate that goal.
Are you involved with just about every order that goes through?
Pizzeria owners, let me talk to you operator to operator for a second. Have you ever had trouble finding the right oven guy, or you starting to see some inconsistencies in your bake and your cook? Swapping an oven is not an easy thing to do. You're literally betting your whole business on it. Edge Ovens makes that call way easier. Instead of trusting a spec sheet or a demo on a showroom floor, George will load up the test truck and come to your shop and put your product through the oven. You'll get to see how the oven performs, how it bakes, before you ever commit to anything. And that's the kind of proof that I respect. Not just because I'm running it myself here at the shop, but because these guys put their name on it and they show up. And listen, you don't have to take my word for it. Some of the best pizzerias in the country are already relying on Edge for that speed and that consistency. Follow hashtag Where's George today to see where George is headed, see if he's in your area. And if you want to schedule a test bake, go to edgeovens.com/testbake and schedule your demo today.
I would say probably 98% usually.
Yeah.
We've had the benefit of growing since I took over from my father-in-law, and, just like meeting you at the show, we had never been to a Vegas show before. We had never been to any expos outside of me walking the floor, I think in August, whenever COVID year, August of 21, whenever
Uh-huh.
that was, when they went to
But
the
yeah,
August show.
they moved it that year,
They moved it.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first ever show going. Prior to then we didn't have, a website. So we were just all word of mouth, and it was like, how do you know you're legit? And it's like, I know I need to get a website, but I probably talked to probably 98% of the people who come through here, at least introduce myself, say hello. We only have one other sales guy, and Brett. And it's like, I say sales, but it's not sales. It's just the customer relationship of like setting up their marketing plan. So I set it up. Brett sets it up. Jake and Zoe handle our design and print, along with Faith is there as well. And then, so I would say 98%, but there is every now and then there's something that comes through the cracks that I'm like, who the heck is that? And I'm like, I didn't even have a conversation. That's kind of weird. So it's always, I would say I talk to a lot of people, but we're just, the machine's humming. So that's a good thing.
I love it, and I love the aspect of team, because I remember specifically like on the phone with you, and Brett's texting me or calling me, and you're like, Brett, leave T alone. I'm on the phone with him right now.
Yeah, correct. Correct. We send those packets out. We're going to call you.
So I thought that was pretty funny, but I can appreciate that, because look, we're all business owners too, and we run whatever size, small, medium, large size businesses, but we want that personal touch, and you guys certainly have that. So
We appreciate that. We always tell people we'll answer the phone. If you call the office, you'll answer. If they call my cell phone, As long as I'm not like putting my kids to bed or eating dinner or something, I'll answer my cell. I might not be able to take or have the conversation right then, but I'm like, hey, I'm with my kids. I'll call you right back.
You probably need to stop doing that.
It's just the way it goes. That's how we are. So it's just I can't turn it off. It's just too much fun.
So, and I'll tell the story because I know you'll answer the phone if someone calls you right now. But I was calling you and you're like, dude, hey, I'm on vacation. I'll call you back as soon as I put my son down for a nap. I'm like,
Yeah,
you better not call me.
what
You
can I
better.
do? That's the way it is. And it's like,
I promise this can wait a week.
no, it's all right. It's just when you're in a small family business like we do, it's like, the customers come first. That's how we make our living. And that's why you'll keep coming back to me if I take care of you. So,
Absolutely. No, you got me. A lot of times we hear folks say that mail is you, and you alluded to it earlier, that mail is old school. I'm doing social media now.
yep.
It's not really part of my marketing plan. How do you educate, clients or potential clients when it comes to the effectiveness of a mail program?
Yeah, there's actually a Facebook post I got tagged on like last week sometime. And someone was like, isn't that kind of old school? And it's like, well, it's only old school because it's still here. And it's like people were doing it in the 90s and they're doing it 2000s. Now they're doing it now. The nice thing about mail is that there's less mail in the mail stream these days than there was 10 years ago. So, if you get your menu or your postcard or some type of call to action out there to get the customers, to see like, the awareness goes up. Hopefully there's an offer on there to get them to place an order because it helps the stores track it. And it's just like the ROI is anywhere from 2 to 5% on a mailer. I always ask customers, like, what's your average takeout bill? Most pizzerias are between that like $30 to $40 range. And, if they get 20 customers, 2% if they mail 1,000 addresses and their average bill's $30, well, that's $600 in sales when it's $320 in postage, right? So you're going to get action on the mailers. And then even in like today's economy with maybe it's 1.8 to 2%. So if you get 18 customers out of there, it's like, well, the important thing is they're coming to your store. They're within your delivery radius. And then I always tell our customers, it's your job to get the customers to come back. Direct mail is a way of getting people through the door, but it's not going to keep them there. It's your in-store marketing. It's your product. More importantly, it's those aspects that are going to get the customers to continue to come in and be a loyal customer.
Yeah. And I think everyone interacts with your brand in different ways. Some folks will see it on social media. Some folks will, love to get that piece of, something tangible in the mail to say, hey, look, we'll bring it in. And maybe people will like bring the physical postcard in. I think it's important to be everywhere. And as a longtime operator, we've had mail as part of our marketing as long as I've been doing this,
Yeah.
23,
It's just
24
been around a
years.
long time. Obviously with, the way the world is, like there's going to be ebbs and flows to every marketing. I always tell every customer I talk to on the phone, like, I cannot guarantee that this is going to work. That's just the reality of marketing, but give it a shot, try it out. I always tell customers, like, maybe print on the lower end of our minimum. So our minimum for menus is 12,500. If they're a new customer, if we're not running a deal on 25,000 or more, then I'll push them to 12.5 just because you want to make sure that this marketing works for you before you go and buy 100,000 menus. And it's like, just make sure it works. You're spending your hard earned money on this advertising. Let's make sure that you're seeing a response before you go all in with it. Right.
Yeah.
I just think that's the right thing for the customer. I'd love for them to print 25,000 and mail double 12,500, but that's not what's best for them. It's like, test it out, dip your toe in the water, see what type of response you get. And I'd say probably 90, 87% customers usually come back and do it again.
Yeah. That's pretty strong retention. What do you find that you guys end up teaching folks about marketing, through your services or through your mail programs?
I would say the biggest thing is, you just got to do a little bit of everything, right? It's like if you're not staying current on social media, you're missing a bit of younger demographics. With direct mail, I always tell people that the people who pay their bills check the mail because that's where the bills usually come through. So you're hitting anyone from 24 to probably 80 who can get up and walk to the mailbox every day. And also with that, it's like educating them on like offers because we did a big mailing for a burrito company and they had like a buy one, get one free burrito. And like one thing I kept mentioning is, well, you only have one offer, which is buy one, get one free. You have this space of a 6.5 by 12 or 6 by 11 postcard, you have other spaces in there to like hit all of those different demographics. So like my wife might like, she just doesn't like burritos and she doesn't really eat them very often, but it's like, so if it's buy one, get one free entrees, you can get the burrito and a bowl or a salad or something else. And you're not limiting it to just 2 burritos, right?
Yeah.
So it's like thinking a little bit more in depth of like, who's this offer targeting? But also it's like, well, you can do that. And then you can do a $5 off of 25 and whatever your average takeout bill, add $10 to it to get people to spend more. And you're just trying to, you're spending the money on the artwork, you're spending the money on the postage. It's like, try to hit as many people as possible when you send out this type of advertising. And then with that, it's like, pair your advertising with your social media or like your loyalty program. If you have a loyalty program, like you did, if you want to get people in the doors, advertise the loyalty program, because not only will the mailer get people in the door, but if they sign up to your loyalty, then you can retarget them via text marketing, email marketing. So it's just educating them on sending out the mailer is not just sending out one piece of mail, but it's sending out your entire brand within that one piece of mailer.
Exactly. And excuse me. And sometimes it's hard to get over as an operator, like you have an idea and you really want to get that one idea across. So like, and even me, I'm guilty of it when I have something that I want to run with, but I appreciate and, not to just keep talking about what I went through, but I did go
No,
through
it's a good experience.
I did go through this experience
with
you. Yeah. And, I wanted to put a QR code on every one of my coupons because I wanted to link them all differently. And even though you weren't handling my design, you stepped in and said, T, I don't know if you really want to do that because it's just going to look a little bit
It's going to look a little messy.
Yeah,
right?
A little messy, a little too
messy.
busy. And you're absolutely right. And the postcard came out great. I got it here. Came out great. It looks awesome. We put the codes on but I just appreciate you saying, look, I know it's your account, your check, but this is probably not going to work the way you think it's going to work.
And it's like, I try not to butt in all the time, tell Jake and Zoe that because I probably do it too much. But if I see something that I think it could look better, or I think it could have a better outcome or not look too busy, because reality is somebody's going to look at this postcard or menu in probably 10 seconds. It's like, what can you do to get them to take action? So in your case, if you have 7 different QR codes on there, it's like, whoa, what is this? But just the other day, I sent an email saying, hey, I can't remember who the customer was, but they had like 4 offers. One of their offers was going to their VIP program. They had a QR code on the front to go to their online ordering. And I was like, why don't you put a QR code on that offer that goes straight to your loyalty? Because that's only 2. It's only 1 QR code on the offer. And then like the reality is the customer's not going to get on their phone and type in this long URL because nobody has the time to do that. People are lazy. And it's like, I'm late. I'm calling out myself here. And it's like, put a QR code so they can scan it quickly, go straight to your loyalty. But it's different than having a QR code on every single offer, because then your eyes are just going to be going all over the place.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. So no, I appreciate that advice, and I'm sure you see that all the time. Can you remember like telling someone like, no, we need to go in a totally different direction?
Yes, it doesn't happen too often because I try to be respectful, obviously. But if I see something that I just know is a bad idea, I usually will be like, this isn't going to work. I could do this, but like, you're going to yell at me here in 10 weeks when this mailing's up because you're not going to see any response to it. So there are times that it happens. It's not very often. Our design team does a great job of trying to get customers away from what we believe to be a bad thing or a negative response. But I mean, just the other day, we had a coffee shop call us and ask if they could do mailers. And I was like, I'll do it, but I'm just being honest. I don't think you're going to see the response because a coffee shop, their average ticket bill is $10. $10. And it's like, your response will probably be the same, but your ROI will be different because your average check can't pay for the postage. And it's like, you can do it. Maybe I would recommend doing it once to get the word out. Like if it's grand opening or something, I think that has its value. But if a company wants to do a mailer and they can't cover the postage, and they like ROI of like, if they get 20 to 50 customers and that won't cover the postage, it's like, it's just not a good idea for them,
Yeah.
And I hate turning away customers, but I'm just trying to be as honest and fair to them and upfront as I can be, because I don't want a negative review because it didn't work. And it's like, well, I told you. So
Yeah, no, I'd rather have a happy non-client than an unhappy former
correct,
client.
correct. So it's just tough. But no, there are times when I'll step in and say, we're not going in the right direction here. We need to change this. And, it's at the end of the day, it is the customer's choice, but I will try to advise them as best as I can.
Yeah. Sometimes we need more advice than we think. How does direct mail compete with like shared mail?
Are you ready to elevate your leadership journey through exploring the wisdom of the ages? Subscribe to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast on all major podcast platforms, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube Music. You can also find us everywhere else podcasts are available. If you find value in our episodes, please leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and of course, YouTube. We need those reviews to grow, and it is the easiest way to help other leaders and lovers of literature discover this show. And thank you for your support.
Good question. So shared mail is cheaper, and the reason being is shared mail is when for those who don't know, if you have a magazine or an envelope with a bunch of different advertising in there, and each company gets their own like page or half page, whatever, right? And then what they do is they take all those companies, they send it out to, let's say a 10-mile radius, and they just drop all of them at once. And like shared mail is nice because it is cheaper. That's the pro. But the con, and what I hear all the time is like, well, I did the shared mail and they dropped it into a 10-mile radius. But if you're in a place that has 25,000 addresses within like 2 miles of your store, by going out 10, there's probably 160,000 addresses.
And you got to do the whole thing.
And you don't drive out there. It's like now the customer's ordering a pizza and you don't go there. So that's a con with with shared mail. Another con is that you're competing with so many different businesses that I know when I get shared mail at my house, I usually get a magazine and I just like take it and throw it away. Yeah. And it's like, I have 3 little kids. They're 7, 5, and 2. I don't have the time to go through and look through all that. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just a different type of mailing, where with direct mail, like what we do, single piece mailers, your piece is going to arrive in home. It's only your piece. We usually choose sizes that are a little bit bigger than letter sizes so that they stand out. And it's only going to be your competition. And it's only going to be your business in that mailer, unless there happens to be another pizzeria in that same mailer as well. I can't do anything about that if it's from a different company. But that's the single piece mailer aspect, is like, it's just your piece. Now, the con of that is that more expensive than shared mail. So it goes both ways. But I think most of the time customers will see a better response with a single piece than they do shared mail.
Yeah, typically. So in my experience, it's always a lower quality print, like those shared mail pieces, if it's in a magazine or if it's in one of those junk mail wraps.
Yeah.
And they are cheap, but the minimums are way higher. Like you gotta cover a whole territory, and you're gonna get a much lower response rate. That's always a tough one for me. And not that we haven't done it and we don't do it. We're a franchise, so we still do some of that.
Yeah.
But you have to, understand the expectations from it.
Correct. Exactly. And it's like, it doesn't mean it's just another part of marketing. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. Doesn't mean that you won't see a positive response. It's just different. It does go through the mail, but they're completely different avenues.
Mm-hmm. I've been a fan and user of Every Door Direct Mail for a really long time, which is what you did for me with the EDBM piece, because we can target days and routes and neighborhoods and avoid the junk mail. So that's like one of the things I love about just doing it this way, is that I know I don't want to be in the mailbox on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I don't want to I don't want to compete with those guys. I want to hit the mailbox Thursday.
I was just
Friday.
about to ask you, when do you like your mail to arrive in home?
I like to hit homes on Fridays. Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I always try to tell customers, like, don't have mail arriving home like Monday, Tuesday for sure. Mm-hmm. And like our experience is that, especially with me and my wife, we'll cook dinner Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then come Friday, sometimes it's like, man, I'm so tired of cooking. I'm so tired of work. We just want to make a quick meal. All right, where do you want to go out tonight? And like a lot of people act like we do, and they spend money on the weekends, they save up, and then come the weekend, they're ready to go. So we always try to get our mail to arrive in home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully being Thursday, Friday, so that people are ready to spend money come the weekend time. And it's just the mindset's a little bit different. So if we have a customer who's like, well, we want mail in home on Mondays, I'm always like,
Yeah, I try to
let me
avoid
walk
that
you
one.
through that. Yeah, like
Even Saturday's tough for me because people don't check the mail on Saturday.
correct. So I
Like,
try to avoid Saturday. And I
yeah,
always want them to be at home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, heading into the weekend.
that's good. See, listen up. That's good advice. Even if you're mailing, understand what days to be in the mailbox because it absolutely matters.
It does matter. It's a big deal. It helps with the ROI later in the week. I think it's because people want to spend more money, just because people spend more money on the weekends because they're not working. So they save up, they want to eat healthy, they want to do this, that, whatever the reasoning is. More people are likely to eat out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday than they are to eat out on Monday, Tuesday.
So this just turned into a whole teaching moment. You dropped one jewel. You said print bigger than a letter size.
Correct.
That's important. It stands out. And then be in the mailbox on the right day.
Correct.
Another huge piece. So take notes, everybody that's listening to that one. He just gave you some free game, but call him and he'll do it.
Nah, it's just if we send out a mailing for anybody, obviously we want it to work. So let's do it the right way.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to? Are you doing more shows? I kind of got a little sneak peek at Columbus, so I know that you're going to be in Columbus.
I'm going to be at Columbus. Yeah.
Got a little sneak peek there. Are you going to do more shows too?
We have been to the Florida Pizza Expo the last few years. The Columbus Expo was the first one last year. We've been to the Vegas show the last 3. We went to a Texas Restaurant Association last year, but there weren't many pizzerias there, so we're not doing that this year. So we're definitely doing Columbus. I've not signed up for the Florida one. I went to the California and spoke there a few years ago, but that's pretty far away from us. So I haven't had a booth there yet. So
okay, yeah, it is a long way. I've been speaking there the last couple of years too, but a lot of pizza guys at those.
I say a lot of the U.S. pizza teams there.
Yeah.
So no, I have not signed up for any of those yet, but right now we went to Vegas in March and we're going to Columbus in October, and we'll see if we go down to Orlando this year. What about you?
I try to go to every show because it's good just to be out there to meet new people. But I'll definitely be in Columbus. We'll definitely do obviously Florida. I'm speaking in California, Florida. I've been kind of doing that whole series of shows. New York, California, Florida show. So I'll be New York, I'll do California, I'll do Florida, and I'll be in Columbus.
New York this year was like right around the Pizza Expo, wasn't it?
It was like 2 weeks before Expo.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But next year, and it was funny. I had a great crowd, as usual, but we did show of hands and not one pizza operator in the crowd in New York, which was wild.
I know, that's wild.
Talk to Glenn, or not talk to Glenn. Well, I do talk to Glenn, but they are bringing the Pizza Tomorrow Pavilion to New York this for 2027. So we'll have a lot more pizza operators in the building. But that was a pretty big show.
And when you go there, what do you talk about?
I'm
interviewing you.
Yeah. I talk about team building, leadership development. I'm all about, taking care of people and really building a team that can last with you, and a team that can help you run your business. None of us can do this on our own. You will not last very long if you have to be the only person doing everything. Even if you have cheap labor like I have in the back right now, it's too hard to do on our own. We got to be able to develop leaders. And the most successful businesses that I've worked with and for are the ones that did a great job at creating a pipeline of leadership.
No, I mean, that's even if there was no pizzerias at the New York show, just that works at Mailwise. It's like, we have a great team. Most of our team has been here for over 2 years now. And, without them, this place wouldn't run. So it's like, you got to practice what you preach, and you preach them something that's very important.
Absolutely. So I teach that, investing in people, and we just try to make it fun. I've been doing it for a couple of years. It's me doing what I'm most afraid of, which is just getting up on stage and speaking to people. Even doing this podcast is hard for me. So I just forced myself to go out to the shows and do it, because I was going to shows for a decade and never talked to anybody.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. Like I said, I talked at that California show on direct mail, and it's not easy getting up there on stage. And obviously, your business, you know what you're talking about. I know Mailwise, I know direct mail stuff. And it's like, I know how to talk over the phone and just like boom, 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 rattle off whatever I want because I know the business. But in front of people, it's like, oh boy, this is a little bit different.
It's like, Oh, I had a 45-minute presentation and I was done in 10.
Yeah.
So
So true.
I
So
remember
true.
the first time we went to California, I took the family. I'm like kind of making a big deal out of it. And we get there and I had like a late Sunday session. So it was pretty, the show's emptying out. And there was only a few folks there. And my son's like, dude, we flew 6 hours for you to talk for 45 minutes. Yeah,
It's harder than it looks.
but we had a good time. But the kids always give me a little bit of a tough.
No, that's fun. Well, when we did ours, Jake in particular, the jokester was giving me a hard time. And I'm like, hey, I did it. It's like, all right, maybe if I want to do it again, I've got something created. I know how to talk about it, but you can't do anything unless you dip your toe in the water. So
Unless you get out there. So I appreciate all the folks out there. Bruce is really the one that really hooked me up with getting on the stage the first time from Bruce from Smart
yeah,
Pizza
of course.
Marketing. So Bruce kind of pushed me to do it, as he's pushed me to do a lot of these things, and it's worked out. It's been really good. I've been able to grow the listenership from it, and get to work with other folks, because we do a little bit, like I create products and tools and a lot of free stuff for operators, but we also work on the back end with some folks on the coaching and consulting side. So it's been that's really been the biggest lead generator. It's just getting out in front of folks.
No, that's cool. That's awesome.
But a lot of fun, man. What's what do you guys have for the balance of the year? Like, how do you market to new folks without going to shows? Like, how do people find you?
Shockingly, direct mail.
You
Yeah. So we've got a trifold menu that we advertise to, that we designed and printed ourselves. And then we'll send those to like targeted business, like pizzerias. So I'll go to a data company and say, hey, can you give me a list of every pizzeria in New Jersey? And then we'll send that out. I only do a few a year just because I don't want to get too overwhelmed with like what's going on. But we've seen a great response to our type of advertising. At the Pizza Expo this year, we did some social media stuff, like getting customer interviews, customer testimonials. And that was a lot of fun because, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, a lot of these guys have just like turned into like buddies of mine. And obviously, like I said, customer first, friends second, but it's hard to kind of draw that line sometimes. And it's nice to, get these interviews and then hear what they have to say. And, I know Mike Patera was on your
love
podcast
Mike.
here
Yeah.
like a month or two ago, and he did one and he spoke so genuinely about how, Mailwise has helped him in his stores with like the design, the print, and then like the advertising of letting people know like, hey, we're here. And just hearing that personally, I wasn't the one doing the interviews, but hearing it when we were at the stand, watching the videos since then, it's just like, all right, what we're doing is working. And that means the world to anybody who's providing a service to a customer and they're seeing a response and they're cool. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great. Like, this is why I get up in the morning. So
It makes it all better. Absolutely.
yeah. So
Hold
it's
on. So
just
you just gave me an idea though. So can I mail something like? Can I get podcast listeners through direct mail?
potentially just got to pay for it.
Yeah, like I was just thinking, like, can I literally? Because I mean, we talk to pizzeria operators. Could I say, hey, look, I want to send a postcard to every pizzeria
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the country. I know that's a lot, but there's potential there.
There is potential. And it's just like, that's what we do. So it's like, I can't remember. It was a lot of pizzeria owners, it seems for us, seem to take action either in early January. It's almost like going to the gym and getting a workout in. It's like, people are like looking for new ways to get new customers come January. It's at the end of the year. All right, how do I make next year better? So we send out mailers then. And I usually send out mailers like closer towards like football season, like at the end of August,
Yeah.
because, that's getting into busy season. They're coming off the summertime. People are coming home from vacation. And we've just kind of seen like that's a better response for us with pizzeria owners. And again, we send out a Mailwise menu with a call to action on there to try to get customers to take action with us. And we've seen a good response from it. So you guys, any trusted partner we have, it's like people who have reached out like, hey, could we send out a mailer too? It's like, well, anyone can mail. It's just a matter of what type of response you get.
Yeah, I like it. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that because I think there's some potential there. I have data on where people are listening, and I think that would be pretty interesting.
Well, if your product can help a customer out just by listening to your podcast, it's like, why not? Right.
Yeah,
But then it's just a matter of, can you get the revenue to pay for it type stuff, which obviously any type of marketing, that's just the way it goes.
yeah. I love that. Dude, this is a lot of fun. I really appreciate you taking the time just to give us a little bit of education. You schooled us all a little bit on the nuances of a mail program and really some things to look for when it comes to doing it on our own.
Well, just with any marketing, there's so much that goes into it. It's not just do it, send it, see what type of response. Like we got to track it. There's so much. I had a customer in Texas who mailed like 10,000 pieces like 2 years ago, and he saw an 18% response. He mailed all 10,000 at once, and he was so mad at me because he didn't see the 2%. And then he called me back like 3 months later. He's like, "We need to do another run," and I'm like, "What?" Like you were so mad at me 3 months ago, and he was like, "Yeah, well, there's 180 customers have come in and like gotten like 400 repeat orders. So it's not just like the initial mailer. They came in, they tried a product, and then they came back. So it's like that, along with his social media. I know he does a really good job of that. It's just this snowball rolling down the hill. And it's like if anybody has any marketing questions on direct mail or anything, it's like reach out to Tyrell, reach out to me, reach out to anybody. It's like the best thing about the pizzeria industry is we're all here to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. To your point, you just said it too. Like consistency, having staying consistent with a program and not just something that's a one and done because there's no tracking, there's no measurements on how effective the program really is. That's marketing. That's not just mail. That's all marketing.
Correct. We always tell our new customers, like we recommend mail to arrive at home 3 to 4 times a year. So it's like depending on how often and what's in the budget, whatever. It's like, but if you have a mailer arriving home once every 4 months, which is 3 times a year, it's like you're staying top of mind. Or like you send out a new mover postcard. So like anybody who moves within that 2 or 3 mile radius from the store, you're sending out a mailer with a free pizza offer. And then like I mentioned this again, but it's like it's not just the advertising. That new mover program might get the customer in the door. And I always tell our customers, if you do this, you need to train your staff. They bring in that postcard. They're new to the neighborhood, like talk to them. Have the manager walk out from behind the counter and welcome them to the store. And it's like the goal is obviously they get that free pizza and they order more and you're not coming out with like a net loss. But if you take the owner or the manager takes the time to walk over and say hello, step from behind that counter, make them feel like welcome to the neighborhood, that new mover program is going to just kick ass. Sorry for my language, but it's like,
Dude,
it's not just the mailing, it's everything. You know what I mean?
it's all of it. Look, we say it all the time here. A consistent regular customer, which is like twice a month for us, that's worth $800 a year.
Yeah, correct.
And we always tell ourselves before, we make mistakes, things happen, pizzas get screwed up, shit happens. Like before we try to win that argument, think about that $800. Like, am I
Correct.
am I willing to take $800, ball it up, and throw it away just because I want it to be right about a pizza? Never.
Yeah, really. It's like if I give you $20 back and you give me 800, who's winning here? So it's
Exactly.
like,
So here,
obviously you can't make it right with every customer. I know that as well. It's like there are mistakes on both. Everyone's human, but yeah, it's like what you
yeah,
just said is great. It's like, do I want to really throw away $800 just because of a pepperoni pizza came out with too crispy or whatever? It's like, no, just make it right.
well, the same thing in marketing. Like I get folks that say, "Hey, I can't. Why would you give away a large pizza?" I'm like, because that large pizza is going to bring in, a lot more over time than the
Correct.
cost of that pizza up front. So yeah, it
Correct.
cost me $6, $8, $12, whatever it cost me. It's worth so much more in the long run.
Like, agreed. Agreed. Everybody's always, like you and me, I text you like, hey, do you need this? Do you need that? And it's like, people always ask, like, why are you texting your customers? It's like, because pizzeria owners are busy. And it's like, if you guys can make it right with a customer and not take so much time out of your day, it just goes a long way to making the customer feel like they either weren't wrong or they were made it right, whatever. But it's like, again, if they come back, then you're winning in the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And customers, they just want to be, they just want what they want. They want a good deal. They want good food. They want good service. And, last story about my experience before I let you go. I remember I had you sent me, the packet with all the menus and postcards. And, I have regulars that come in here all the time. And I'm talking to one of my good friends, Jason, who's a regular customer. And I'm like, dude, you like this design or this design and all of this? He's like, dude, I don't care about any of that. He goes, look, the pictures never look like what the pictures look like, what the food is going to look like anyways. And all I care about,
Though I
all,
always tell people, use your own food photos.
yeah, he was like, and all I really care about is the deal. He was like, so make sure the deals are good and the pictures are decent. Cause I was like stressing, like, should I do this cheesesteak or should I put this cheesesteak?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, the food never looks like whatever it look, it's not gonna look like that. It's obviously a stage photograph. It's your food, but it's, in a
Yeah, yes.
studio. It's
Correct.
professionally photographed. It's not like your iPhone pictures, which are fine, by the way. But he's like, dude, don't overthink this. Like, just make sure you got good deals on there, because that's, as a customer, I'm looking at those food photos, but I'm flipping it over to see what you're offering.
Correct. It's a lot about the offers. So it's just put something on there. I always say the two things that work best with direct mail. You said it like you did. You guys have really nice food photos, and then calls to actions. And it's like, I know it might cost a little bit of money to get some professional photos, but it does improve the response rate when you have really nice pictures. And you can take a really nice picture with an iPhone.
You can.
You just got to make sure you can stage it correctly, the lighting is right, and you just want your food to pop. And it's like, stock photos are fine. We do it all the time if the customer doesn't have pictures, but I'll always try to tell a customer, like, hey, take a picture at a 90-degree angle. And I would say, take a helicopter photo if you're standing right above it. And it's like, send it to me. We'll edit it. And it's like, let's see if we could do that before we use a stock photo. Because like you said, the customer's like, well, they don't look like it anyways. It's like, well, it's better for it to look somewhat like your food than it is for it to not look like your food at all.
But yeah, and it shouldn't look like the guy next door, the
Correct.
6 other menus that they got, because everyone used stock photos. Absolutely should be your food.
I was looking at a photo earlier of a chain, and I saw a photo that I just see all the time. I'm like, why is this on their page? I'm like, this is not your food.
Dude, I've done it. I remember I had a shop back in the day, and we put, I can't believe we did it, but we did photos like on the windows,
Yeah.
on the perforated screen out front, and we did stock photo on the window. And I'm like, I thought it was so cool at the time, but then after a while, like, I seen it on someone else's menu, or you see it somewhere else, like,
Yeah.
oh, we're idiots.
Like, dang it.
But you live and learn.
It's the way it goes.
Kevin, this is a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you get back to your Monday. Tell the folks how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you. I assume you got the website up now.
Yeah, website's actually active. There we go. Go to mailwisesolutions.com. Text Tyrell. He'll send you my cell phone number.
I sure will.
Just give us a call. Our office is 859-341-3400. But, you let me know and we'll take care of you. So, Tyrell, I appreciate you having me here today. And, it's just nice to continue this relationship we've got going.
Yes, sir. The pleasure's all mine. And I'm sure I'll see you out on the road.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, man. I appreciate
buddy.
you. Yep.
If you've gotten any value out of this episode or any of our other episodes, I need you to do me a favor. Go leave us a review. Every review on Apple, every 5-star rating on Spotify helps this show find more operators just like you, and helps them get that same value that you're taking away from this episode. And as a thank you, anytime somebody leaves a review, sends me a screenshot, just DM me a screenshot of your review, I'm going to send you a free gift, something awesome, something cool. I'll send you a gift, whoever leaves a review. That's the challenge. Go leave a review, DM me a screenshot of it, and then I'll get you something. I got you something special from your boy. Now let's get back into the episode. Peace.